This video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you need a website or domain, go to squarespace.com.
Where's the best place in the world for polar bears, walruses, and amazing icy mountain landscapes? Welcome to Svalbard.
My name is Simon D'Entremont and I'm a wildlife photographer. I'm here to fulfill one of my wildest ambitions. From the moment I got interested in wildlife photography, I've wanted to visit Svalbard to witness its epic landscapes and amazing wildlife. This was made possible by two great photographers who reached out and asked if I would join them. Thomas Heaton, a landscape photographer recently bitten by the wildlife bug, and Jonas Porell, an expedition leader and great photographer. I joined them for this adventure to see and photograph the amazing landscapes as well as land animals, exotic Arctic birds, seals and walruses, and to fulfill my decades-old dream to photograph the polar bear. So where is Svalbard? Halfway between the north coast of Norway and the North Pole sits Longyearbyen, the main town of Svalbard and the most northernmost town in the world. Formerly known as Spitsbergen, which is only now solely the name of its largest island. Svalbard is an island archipelago first used by whalers, but then transitioned to mining for many of the last 100 years. Yet remnants of mining remain, including to this day the custom of removing your shoes indoors. And yes, you need a gun for protection from polar bears when you leave the city limits. Longyearbyen is also home to the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. And in May when I'm there, the sun doesn't set, but slides across the horizon, never getting lower than 6 degrees. In fact, from March to August, the sun never sets. And while flying into Longyearbyen will give you great views, once there, by ship is one of the best ways to explore this amazing place. On our 1A Ice Class icebreaker, with Zodiacs for daily excursions, we were able to explore the ocean and fjords around Svalbard down at eye level. But what I was really here to see was the untamed wildlife and scenery of Svalbard. But to find wildlife here, you need to understand the ecosystem and environment of Svalbard. And to do that, you need to understand one thing that drives it: ice. Svalbard is 60% covered by glaciers. They're important as a massive freshwater reserve and critical element of many ecosystems. They're created by snow accumulations over hundreds or thousands of years and animated by slow movement towards the ocean, where the process of breaking off into icebergs is called calving. An interesting fact is that the top of glaciers moves faster than the bottom, the latter which leaves marks on the bedrock over which it moves. These icebergs create habitat for birds and mammals alike, like these kittiwakes and fulmars that find food at their base. But they're receding at an alarming pace. They're also getting thinner. Places like Longyearbyen even depend on them for drinking water. Sea ice in the region has lost 40% of its surface area since the 1970s. This is a problem, as seals need ice and polar bears need seals, so on the shoulders of the ice, the whole ecosystem hangs in the balance. I better not have so much fun here in Svalbard that I forget to thank the sponsor of this week's video, Squarespace. I built my own website using Squarespace and it was a breeze. And it can help you build your own using new AI tools that'll help you personally curate your own build. And it's a great idea these days. Social media is showing your work in small thumbnails or prioritizing video, which may not help you promote your work or your business or your brand. A Squarespace website can help you monetize your work as well by taking payments by credit card or PayPal from all over the world. And they've recently added some new tools where you can buy now and pay later, helping you attract new clients. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Simon for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Access by water was one of the best ways to allow us to see the amazing bird life of Svalbard, some of which you rarely see near land. There were eiders, exotic-looking murres, flighty kittiwakes, guillemots in beautiful black breeding plumage, and northern fulmars, relatives of the albatross, who glide easily over the seas and have a nose-like structure above their bill from which they expel salty water to desalinate their diet.
And I think I got my best bird shot so far of the trip. I'll show you right now.
But the highlight for me was seeing and photographing these king eiders, of which I'd only seen 2 individuals before. High on my shot list to photograph were also these Arctic foxes. They were looking ragged, but that's because they're losing their winter coats that kept them warm and camouflaged during the winter. They're often scavenging on the beaches and then hiding their food, like this one taking a fish it found on the beach to its hiding place. During bird nesting season, they'll usually hunt under the nesting bird colonies, looking for dead or fallen chicks, and will often follow polar bears around to eat scraps in other seasons. I was especially fond of this photo, where a fox passed under an ice overhang with amazing icicles and with perfect timing turned around and looked in my direction. What trip to Svalbard would be complete without a few good sightings of walruses? While once hunted for blubber, walrus ivory, and meat, to almost extinction in Svalbard, walruses have been protected since 1953. And while with long lenses you can take great portraits, this was a great opportunity to take what are called environmental photos, where the subject is small in the scene and you show the environment in which the subject lives. And what a beautiful environment it is.
We're looking at these belugas. There's about 100 of them. They're amazing. And my buddy Jonas has got a drone flying and getting some amazing footage over here. So let's have a look to see what Jonas is getting.
One of the best experiences in the trip was a great sighting of a pod of about 100 beluga whales. The way they swim gracefully in a coordinated pattern was fantastic to witness. And finally, my lifelong ambition that I came here to do is to see and photograph polar bears. Even in Svalbard, finding them isn't easy, but seeing tracks on the ice or from them sliding down a mountainside was indeed cause for excitement. The Inuit of northern Canada traditionally thought that polar bears are left-handed and historically approach them from the right side in traditional hunts. The bears that are the most skilled hunters would often only eat the calorie-rich fat from the seals, leaving the meat for foxes or younger bears that aren't as good hunters. Research is also being done to protect them. GPS collars can be found on some, but only on females, as males have a large neck, larger than its head. And yes, our guides needed to be armed when we're away from the ship, as polar bears are indeed dangerous to humans. Our first encounter was from a few kilometers away, with 2 bears, but important in protecting these bears is that we can't break the fast ice with our ship, that is the ice that's attached to land. Luckily, the bears did eventually move, and we boarded the Zodiacs for an expedition. At what time? At midnight.
I have to go get my gear on. We just had a shipwide announcement. The polar bear is on the move. It's time to go.
Walk with me. Let's leave.
I've shot over 1 million photos in the last 10 years. This has been the best experience ever.
Walk with me. There's something else we need to find. Say you'll go. Don't make me wait. There's no need to hesitate. Let's make footprints in the sand. Let's make miracles. Come hold my hand. Let's find something new. Me and you.
Well, I only needed to wait a lifetime to get that opportunity. That was amazing.